Ro. INnoVation. Dark. Trend. Africa team. Pre-Go Studio Live. 2020 GSL Season 3. Korea's Last Stand.
And this really is a last stand. It's just 2 more players left. Dark and INnoVation. I think it goes to INnoVation, but I don't know. That last series was weird. I feel like Rogue is actually an amazingly good player, but is not selecting the right strats. I think he's almost getting
garbage
ahead of himself. It just didn't make sense.
Game 1 he was great, and then he was complete
You're
and utter
13-1
garbage.
against this guy. You're going to pull all your drones.
That one I'm much more fine with than Game 2.
Yeah, Game 2 was a calculated tech to Brood
It was so
Lords.
slow. It was like he made like 8, then he made 4 more, then he made 1 more, and then he attacked. It was just garbage, man.
Okay, Dark versus INnoVation, it all comes down to this. There's just 1 more spot remaining in the round of 8. Will it be Dark or will it be INnoVation? It's weird, it's crazy, man. This group is so stacked. Let's see who is our last survivor.
영광의 전투가 펼쳐진다. GSL을 위하여. 전투 지원이 들어왔다. 함께일 때 우린 더욱 강하다. 드래곤 피닉스 게임 다크 악령. 카이즈 게임 INnoVation 이신영.
All right, I think Dark's gonna take this, Tasteless.
Yeah?
I just want you to know.
Well, we'll see about that, because I'll tell you what, I think INnoVation's going to take this, and we might have to get in a fight about it.
Damn.
Yeah,
It's not what I wanted, but
I know, but
here
here we are. No, I think Dark, he might, I don't know, man, it was a little bit weird. The games, he looked very good against Trap, but, you know, it's a different matchup.
Yeah.
Rogue, I feel like Rogue could have beaten Dark, but then he's like, I don't know.
Clown Town.
Clown Town. What if I flip a coin instead? It's like, what? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if it's heads up, I win. La 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 la. Okay. Now, INnoVation again. He looked really, really solid with his ability to push, man. I mean, he looked very, very deadly, and I do think that Rogue overall has better late game defense and a little bit more tactics at his disposal in late game. But let's see what Dark can do. Never count Dark out.
Yeah. I just want to see what Dark's style is going to be against INnoVation.
Sure.
Because we've been seeing a big variance in style just overall from Zergs and ZVT. I know that Dark is someone that generally likes roaches more than most players against Terran.
That's true. He
Right
likes
now, Lingbane Muta, I think, is really, really good in the matchup.
Dark likes a beefy mid game. You know, he likes to throw his weight around in the mid game.
Yeah.
INnoVation, not surprisingly, going for 3CC. I think we saw this exact build on this exact map earlier from him.
Yeah, in fact, every TVC so far, this is what he's been up to. Just it's the standard INnoVation build anyways. Like, this is his safety build.
Yeah.
No reactor Hellions, 3 commands. It's where he goes from there. We can kind of analyze and see how it looks different. Dark getting that Overlord speed. I think he saw the command, so that's actually really helpful if he did.
Yeah, Dark, though, does have very good late game. You don't want to count him out. I know it sounds weird because he's so recently just the best in the world, but I think some of this has been overshadowed by the way our games have gone here in 2020, you know? So the Roach Warrant's coming down now, and this Overlord is going to scout and confirm the third CC. That's not even really like a hidden CC, by the way. So good job here by Dark.
Full scout going down. The one thing he might be wondering is there a fusion core somewhere? He takes a right turn here.
Yeah, and let's see if there is going to be a fusion core later on. We don't have one yet.
Yeah.
That is one of the big defining differences, is that INnoVation earlier today went for a fusion core and then went for infantry.
And he sees no fusion core. But the Banshee that was started actually got canceled and turned into a Raven. So I think this might be kind of a neat creep clearing tool that he's going to use, but he also, you can use the Raven for harassment in this matchup as well. You can also use it a little bit against Queens. Well, I don't see that as likely. Anyways, kind of cool. I'm excited.
And we're going to have a slower start here, but Terran is going to be pushed down eventually here on those 3 bases, massing up. And again, you know, I said this in the earlier cast, but I know people come in and out of the casts, or sometimes they have this on the TV, muted, other times they're actually listening to commentary. If you want to learn a good build, TVZ to ladder with, this is it. INnoVation, if you can just macro well with this build and push, you'll get really high rank.
Well, yeah, the Raven is a little bit different than his more normal builds, but overall it's
I mean the 3-base build idea.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get pretty much any 3-base build down, and there's different variants, and you can try to pick and choose and see which one's easier for you or which one gels with your style. But this is definitely a way to learn. I think occasionally players see someone like SOS do something totally batshit crazy and think that's what I'm going to do, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
Let's learn all the basics first. You're going to have a lot more fun cheesing people and doing other crazy techniques once you've got the macro play down.
Indeed. All right, so Spire is actually coming up here for Dark. I like it.
Right.
This is kind of the most powerful style right now, in my opinion, but... oh, he's actually also getting Roach speed. That's a very stylistic thing coming out of Dark.
Oh, I like the idea of the Evos, but it doesn't come down in time. This is a lot of damage here coming from INnoVation.
Yeah, definitely very decent right there.
I'm surprised the last 2 hits didn't get more drones, but 7's actually not the end of the world. I thought he was going to get like 12 or something a little bit more here. But I like the Raven as well, especially if you can just target down drones over Roaches. Good shift clicking there.
Yeah. Well, I think this is all good, especially when you consider that there was a Roach push that didn't really do anything.
Yeah, the Roaches didn't really get much value, did they?
Yeah.
They maybe kept the 3rd CC floating a little bit longer, but that doesn't pay for itself.
Yeah.
And you remarked on this earlier in the in this game, in this cast, Artosis, as you said, you know, Dark tends to want to lean into Roach Ravager a little bit more when you think Lingbane Muta is probably a better way to play.
Yeah, he likes Roaches. And, well, he's making Roaches. We haven't seen Mutas yet, even though there's a Spire.
Yeah.
So I guess Dark going to stay with his very stylistic play. Does have 1-1 on the way here for Lings, getting a Baneling Nest as well.
Yeah, he'll eventually have to switch out of this. Roach Ravager is funny because it does definitely have a lot of muscle in the mid game. Like, there's a lot you can do with it. But as the game goes on for a long time, these units, they cost too much supply. The way that they fight is generally inferior compared to a Terran who stims, controls well, puts down Widow Mines or tanks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Roaches don't beat Terran. I mean, you can do things with them, but it's not really a long-term solution to
everything
anything.
else that Terran has in fights automates damage. That makes sense. Like Ravagers, you can try to spam out Biles, but the Terran can micro away and they'll still be doing damage.
So 4 Mutas were made. That's an interesting number. Maybe it's an anti-drop thing. Maybe it's a I want you to react to Mutas now thing.
Yeah, the thing is, you can do a little bit with it, but then eventually they're going to say, okay, this isn't anything, you know?
Yeah.
There's 5 Mutas here.
Well, yeah, I guess look at this, right? There's a Thor and there's Drilling Claws on the way. So it's kind of that thing that we saw before where he was playing against Rogue who was going Hydra. Here he's actually seen Muta, so maybe he's really sold that this is Muta. When I saw him adding the same factor, I was like, oh, if he goes Siege Tanks here, that's going to be really strong against Roach Lingbane. But in this case, it looks like he's countering Lingbane Muta, which is, you know, it's the most common thing right now for the Korean Zergs. But he does have a good group of Roaches in there, so we'll see. He's getting that +1 air. Doesn't mean he has to make more Mutas right now. That can be utilized later on as well.
Infestation Pit coming here. I like how Dark's played this overall. It is kind of crazy to see just how different Dark and Rogue are. Rogue, excuse me, not Rogue. Rogue are when you put them in this matchup against the same player.
Definitely different styles coming out.
Now we're getting to the point where the game gets much more interesting. Terran's beginning to push out. The other key upgrades are starting, and in this case, as the push comes, it looks like Dark wants to try to bombard this mineral-only, or this not mineral-only, mineral area here, I should say, with some Banes. Instead, he's going to go up here into the natural. Is INnoVation paying attention?
Doesn't look like it right now.
Is he actually going to drop this out in time, though?
Well,
that was weird.
Kind of funny.
He could have killed the units at the gas had he done a little bit better. But still a victory there.
Clearing some of these mines right now. Those Ravagers definitely going to help to zone everything out. Here comes the Thor.
Yeah.
Thor is here. Thor is not here.
Hey, he picked off the mine again with the corrosive bile. I really like the technique here from Dark. INnoVation not relenting yet. He's going to keep pushing forward here.
And you know what? He's really held everything very well. He's got great creep spread. There's another group over here on the creep. He needs to get over there and actually deal with it.
Yeah, so far Dark has just been mopping up any Terran presence over here. The moment that the Terran gets there, the Zerg's there to bully him back.
The two mutas are harassing across the map.
They have almost burned down the refinery.
Yeah. 3 medevacs out. Not going to find too much damage here. I gotta say, the way Dark is playing... Oh, okay, he's actually thrown down a Hydralisk Den, so maybe he goes into Lurker from here, but I was gonna say, his unit composition actually transitions into Ultras very well, which is a unit he's known for using a lot and is very good at.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if that's where he goes. Because, like, this type of style, no one really plays like this right now, but there's nothing wrong with it.
Hatchery getting low. Can he actually save this here? Morling's coming up. He does pick up, literally going to the main. Have an odd moment. It looks like this medevac might get picked off here. Right now, every time INnoVation pushes out, Dark is here to answer it, but INnoVation only needs 1 or 2 big wins to start to push through here and possibly topple the Zerg.
Some of these
and that
Biles
moment might be right here, right now. I mean, look at this. The reinforcements coming up. Biles gunning down the medevac, but I think there's just too much here. I think we're starting to see exactly why this is not the ideal unit comp the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, you can really see him gunning down quite a bit.
Oh my gosh.
He's absolutely everywhere, and Dark doesn't have the anti-air to stop the drops.
Again, it's just
and he doesn't have the force to stop the Marine Marauder.
It is a bit of a style thing, but I think also there's a point where, yeah, which one has more utility? Clearly the way that Rogue plays. GG, INnoVation takes game 1. Let's go to game 2.
Yeah, it was interesting because he made the Spire, he made like 4 mutas. Maybe just seeing those mutas like triggers INnoVation in certain ways, like he's not going to do as many drops and things, so that can help if you're going Roach. But overall, like, yeah, he was so much heavier on Ravager than Baneling. You know, the current style that you see from a lot of top Zergs is very Ling Bane heavy with mutas in there to kind of clean things up. So I don't know if Dark is going to switch it up onto this next map or still try to play his own very stylistic brand of Zerg vs. Terran.
Okay, it's all going to come down to Eternal Empire now for Dark. Can he turn this around or will INnoVation advance? Let's find out.
영광의 전투가 펼쳐진다. GSL을 위하여. 드래곤 피닉스 게임 다크 방영. 카이즈 게임 이노베이션 이신.
Yeah, looking back on that game, I mean, that was Dark looking like Dark ZVT, but again, I mean, you know, it's hard to really eke out more damage the more sophisticated a Terran army gets when you've got Roach Ravager.
Yeah, it doesn't scale all that well. The Ravager can be very useful, but you're not even getting the right upgrades, right? Because generally with that, you will end up getting melee upgrades so that you have a better late game.
It's also, like, you know, the first 3 attacks, Dark wiped up pretty quickly, and it was impressive. He knows exactly how to target the Widow Mines as they're burrowing with the Ravagers. He knows exactly when to run away. But, like, yeah, as time passes, there's more siege tanks, there's more Widow Mines, there's way more upgraded infantry. Terran infantry is scary, even if you're another Terran player, because, you know, the stim, the amount of damage that's being done while you're trying to, in this case, finesse out a win with Corrosive Bile. And look, most of the time, Corrosive Bile operates as a zoning deterrent. Like, you can spam it out there, and then they have to move.
Yeah.
But as time passes, man, I mean, you're not gonna do much with it. It seems.
Well, the Ravagers are a little bit soft, right? It's hard to actually sustain in these battles, and because in general Zerg doesn't have anything that sustains in battles until Ultras.
Right.
Well, I guess Roaches technically sustain in battle, but they don't deal enough damage and they're too supply heavy. So because of that, it really does lean more towards the massive damage output of the Baneling. Right?
Yeah.
The better we get Zerg players playing, the more you see like this reliance on Banelings, where it's like, okay, well, when someone's coming, you're going to clean that out. It's going to cost a lot of money, but you're protecting your extra bases and you're dealing damage quickly enough, because otherwise your opponent grinds you down.
Yeah.
Same build from INnoVation. Of course, he has different branches off this, but the triple command and reactor to Hellions stays the same.
Think we'll have any fusion core here?
No, I don't think so. He lost that game so badly. I think that build might be gone forever.
That's true, actually. Not even into mech? Can I dream? Can I dream, Artosis?
I feel like you don't want to play mech against Dark specifically, because he's such a roach boy anyways.
Okay.
But that being said, I could see Battlecruiser Tech being all right against Dark just because he likes roaches so much. You're always going to be efficient with the BCs because of that.
Right.
And also you'll have the Tech Lab, so if he is going to do one of his early attacks that he likes, you can get a Banshee very easily.
Okay. Again, a slow start here. A very slow start in a game like this. We'll see when and if and when the Hellions do decide to dive in and do, you know, the damage they want to do.
Banshee with Cloaked on the way. Don't see that as often anymore.
Yeah, this is a little
right.
bit of an older approach here. Maybe INnoVation can eke out some more damage. Sometimes stuff that it's good, but it's old. If it hasn't been used in a while, you can reintroduce it. You know. So
again, like against the way that Dark likes to play, your Banshees are actually not going to go out of power if you have Cloak, right?
no, you can back them. You know, later on.
Because like we even saw in that previous game, right? Like INnoVation had a Banshee, but it didn't have Cloak, and then the 4 mutas flew over and killed it, and then it was like, okay, well there you go. But in a game where your opponent really doesn't like to make Spire, which is a lot of times that's actually one of the weaknesses of Dark. Sometimes you'll get to the end game and Liberators will do well against him because he doesn't have a Spire yet.
That's a good point.
But the Banshee is just always going to be useful if your opponent's going anything roach-based. All right, the Baneling Nest coming up very quickly. I think this signifies that he's going to get his Baneling speed quickly. Maybe he's realized that this has been an issue.
Yeah, it seems like he is coming in here with a completely revamped approach.
Yeah, it does look like that right now. Spire coming up quickly as well.
This is a thing you'll hear people talk about, like, does he play correctly or not? And that is, in some ways, a real thing, guys.
Yeah.
You know, some people, you know, when you get flamed online and people say you're not even playing correctly, there is a lot of times a school of thought, like, this is probably the way to approach the game. And,
well, there's, yeah, basically, like, if you're going to play, quote-unquote, correctly, you're trying to give yourself the maximum in how able you are to transition against various things and continue to play the game. And, you know, give yourself, like, the maximum opportunity to win, like the highest win percentage over time.
So these Banes are going to come up now. I'm sorry, Banes. These Banshees are going to come up now. Excuse me.
These creep tumors.
I had a... And let's see, I don't see much to defend here, and it looks like he wanted to... I'm not sure what he wanted to go for. He shot a couple different queens.
Yeah. It's bruising everything.
Then he committed to this, but 5 kills is already a success.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think targeting this queen off the creep is a great idea. Here come those Hellions now, backing up as the Banelings come forward.
One of the Banshees fall.
Oh, kiss me. One Banshee goes down. We're the same person, Artosis.
Yeah. And that's the first thing you would do with the same person, right?
Yep. Now 7 mutas are coming up here. This is when the Zerg's going to have more of an ability to actually fight. A lot of the game is the Zerg trying to avoid damage. When Muta-Ling Bane is out, that's where the Terran has to be very careful to not overextend, because the game, the dynamic of the game is completely different.
Now, he's going for the composition that I think INnoVation's most prepared for. We've seen him go Thor, Mine, Drilling Claws pretty much all the time. This time he's I think we're going to see continued Muta production. We'll see here just momentarily. If he makes any Mutas beyond what we see here, then it's actually Ling Bane Muta. But, you know, Dark sometimes just makes a small group of Mutas, and that's it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which, honestly, you can play that. You can go really heavier on Ling Bane. You have to nail that macro on those engagements, though.
Very true.
So you don't really have a whole lot other than that. Now, he is making a ton more Mutas.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot more on the map here. He's continuing to spread out. This is a map that generally lends itself to a pretty long game if both sides are playing properly.
Yeah.
And I do think with Dark, even though we talk about him being a Roach boy, I do think he is probably going to be fine at holding off INnoVation's pushes, but we'll see.
Well, I think it's hard to kill your opponent here, especially as that creep gets past where you're taking your 4th and your 5th.
And in this fairly passive game from INnoVation, he'll be hopping over to a 4th base pretty soon here. Again, got to be careful with the Mutas. You misstep, whether it's over a few Marines or even just a Widow Mine, and they'll take a lot of damage. And especially when Mutas are damaged, that's when Terran likes to push out, because the Mutas are no longer the same kind of threat. I love the wall here, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, that Drilling Claws is coming up. Dark trying to figure out what to do with those 4 Banes. Is 1-1 going to be finishing, but INnoVation's 2-2 is going to be near half done.
Yeah.
INnoVation very cleanly getting to where he wants to be right now. A lot of Lings being made here for Dark. I think he's really preparing for this first battle, but INnoVation, if I had to guess, like the way that INnoVation likes to do this a lot of the time is get your 2-2, be maxed out, and push.
Look at this trick he's doing.
And it's like an amazing timing attack.
He's leaving 3 Marines at the tower with 2 Widow Mines.
Oh,
for the Mutas.
Yeah. You're like, I can kill 2 Marines, 3 Marines.
Yeah.
No, you cannot. You're all dead.
It's got to be careful. Okay, I actually did not see that Overseer there. I was like, oh my god!
Gonna break a hole here in the wall. Tries
Nicely
to get that
done.
sensor tower.
But there is a push that is arcing through the upper left corner here. Now there's lots of creep. Oh, nicely done. There's lots of creep up here. There doesn't seem to be any location that's a good spot to take a fight, you know?
Yeah. Well, he can start clearing that. INnoVation is just about maxed out here, and his 2-2 is finishing. So this is like the strongest that you're going to be in relation to your opponent for a really long time. Because when 2-2 finishes, suddenly, you know, you don't have that 2 upgrade advantage anymore. So INnoVation, he's scanning, he's removing some of this creep, he's spreading. Actually clears those Banes very well. Oh, a lot of Banes actually out here counterattacking.
Yeah. Not killing that much, though.
Honestly, I want to see INnoVation continue to push this right now. He just killed a bunch of Banes, and he just, like, had a bunch of Banes roll into him. So this could be a very good moment for him to try to kill that base, but he actually pulls back. He's cleaning up just a few Zerglings down here. He's making sure that there's no harassment at his 4th base. I mean, those are not bad ideas, but his 2-2 timing attack is just about gone.
The 9 o'clock expo will really assist in actually getting progress here. You can't push too far back as a Zerg. And here we go. That push is actually inbound here. Now, there's a lot of Banelings. We need to watch and see how do they connect. I love the wall in here for INnoVation. That's going to be very handy in stopping these Lings from doing too much damage right away.
Yeah,
God, that's a lot of Lings.
A lot of Banes being
might
made
be
right
too
now
many Lings over there.
All right, here comes some of the Banes. INnoVation not micro too much there, but mostly absorbs that on Marauders and the Thor. All right, looks like a big flank is going to be coming in. I think this is a great move here from Dark. He's coming in and surrounding a bunch of those back Marines. Banelings coming in from 2 different sides here as well. Dark begins to roll through the army.
INnoVation spreading pretty nicely, but this is just such a ridiculous number of Zerg units. Now, that was the majority of the Banelings. The next question is, how does the next push do? It's usually easy for Zerg to sweep in the first big attack with all the Banelings. From here, it's going to be about can the Zerg keep enough banelings and have a balanced economy, where the Terran is able to reassemble an army pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really have that many banelings. His gas has been spent elsewhere. He has a lot of Mutalisks. They do have +2 attack, so they're actually really deadly. And he's going up into that Ultralisk Cavern now, as well as starting his 3-3.
Dark continuing to expand. It seems like if INnoVation is going to win this game, it won't be anytime soon. INnoVation not with a 5th just yet, although there's a command center about to finish. One would have to imagine it would be at one of the 2 6 o'clock bases. And INnoVation being much more conservative with his roaming, just poking out creep tumors here and there. I don't know what the ideal location is to push. I guess it's the lower base at 12 o'clock, but this seems pretty hard, right?
I think so. I think you're right. That's the general area anyways. If an opportunity arises, maybe you can go up the ramp to the higher ground base at 12, but that's really the only place you can attack.
Another push. Now, how many Banes are here? There should be substantially less than the first time around.
Well, he's making a few right now. Doesn't have that many in his army.
Note the Marauders are up here in the front. A lot of these Lings, by the way, spilling in here to kill off a lot of the reinforcements.
Yeah, I like the Link counterattack. It looks like Dark just going to give this base up.
He sacks it, and now some of these Banes are being fished in here. Those are all connected with Thors and Marauders, not the ideal targets. Is INnoVation going to keep going? Now there's more Banes coming here.
Ooh, I don't know about this. He's going a little bit deep, and he might get flanked. Well, you're on creep, so it's almost a flank when they come from one direction, and it looks like it will all get cleaned up.
Yeah, an odd overextension there from INnoVation. I think it would have been better to back up and then go up through the upper left and then hit the top.
Yeah, if he backs off creep there, that engagement can't look that strong, that overwhelming. Maybe he can reinforce and continue forward, but
odd decision,
overextended onto the creep. It's a mistake. I mean, even the very best players make, as we just saw.
In a game where this much is happening, you kind of understand it, but let's see where the next attack goes here. There's going to be plenty more time to muster up more Banelings to survive the next attack. We also have Ultralisks out here now. Generally speaking, in Dark games specifically, he actually always does well when Ultras are out.
Yeah, he's very good with Ultras. And
gives him a lot
he's
more
going to have
sustain.
3-3, and he has Chitinous already, so the Ultras are going to be ready to party.
Okay, catching 2 of those Marauders. This really goes to show you what Medivacs can do.
I know.
With that much armor, it's like,
Crazy.
oh, no, you're fine. Are you completely surrounded on all sides? Don't worry about it.
+3 armor Marauders with Medivacs.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
A drop headed northbound, but I think the next push is going to be here in the center right.
Right, Burrow being researched as well. It's kind of cool. Nice low defensive mine there. Annoying. Trying to run some Lings in for some counterattacking. They're pretty expendable overall, so I like that he's trying that right now. Oh, get out of there.
I don't know about this, yeah.
I do know about this. It's not the way to do it.
All the Lings are going to come in here and try to help out, but that didn't work at all.
That was ill-timed for sure.
Garb.
4 Lings for almost 2 Ultras and some Lings.
Yeah, considering how precious Ultras are as a commodity, like as a resource in the game that you need to use. And now INnoVation's going to push even further forward here. I'm worried that Dark might be in trouble. Let's see how these Banes connect, though.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to clear this up. So, INnoVation, once again, losing a big chunk of army.
One Marauder running around. Whoa!
I like the usage of Burrow that we're starting to see around the map.
Yeah, I think you need to do stuff like this. It's too hard for Terran to keep up with everything that's happening on the map. We have more Ultras hatching as well as Lings. I don't know the Baneling count, but there's a pretty small army right now that seems to want to push through the center right. Terran also double expanding to the bottom. Keep in mind that Zerg is, for the most part, out of easy to hold expos. The longer the game goes, the harder it is for the Zerg. The Zerg becomes much more strained to try to not lose a base or workers there.
Well, if he can get his creep down to some of it, it'd be helpful, but that doesn't seem very likely at this point. He only has 3 queens, and there's just so much action around the map. But with the type of army he's gotten into now, it's much more of an attack move army, right? It's like Ling Bane Ultra. He barely has any Mutalisks left, so he doesn't really have to worry about, you know, those things kind of errantly flying into the Terran army and dying.
Right. Good kill, by the way, there. Okay, great denial, though, down here at 6.
Yeah.
But
sides.
I don't think Terran, as time passes, is going to struggle too much to try to secure those bases. Again, Dark is getting a little bit loosey-goosey here with some of his units. He's hemorrhaging quite a bit.
I like this how he drops out to kill that.
Yeah,
and Muta so his Medivacs can get away.
Seems like Dark is really preoccupied. Now there's a push coming here. 3 Ultras in the front, but we've got enough Marauders that this is going to be basically like a wall. I think one Marauder completely surrounded by Lings is hard to kill. Try to get a whole wall of them.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is now, can Zerg actually survive this? By the way, Terran will try to reclaim 6 o'clock again here shortly.
All right, here we go. A ton of Lings coming in. They're going to be able to surround a lot of these Marauders, maybe draw some mine hits as well. The Ultras get on top of everything and start to massacre. They are under a Liberator right now, but it's only 1.
Yeah, now it looks like the Zerg is barely going to hold this, but, I mean, that was a lot that was lost back there. Oh, man, there's even more Banes up here? What are these doing here?
He kept his Ultras alive for the most part, but they do need some healing. I think that that is such an important aspect, as long as he's mining bases. Is that Marauder over there killing everything still?
I think it's just now is cleaned up.
All right, +3 attack for those Mutas finishing.
This is a pretty insane game, Artosis.
Yeah,
this has been a lot of fun to cast so far.
This is a wild one. I appreciate that he's actually remaking some Mutas now, right? We're seeing Liberators start to pop in, and we're seeing Medivacs that could be killed off if he has that anti-air. So he's added that in a little bit. And with the +3 attack, I mean, they can actually even deal a lot of damage to things like Marauders.
So, you know, the funny thing about this match is the Terran expands a little bit later. It's sort of the ebb and flow of the way the game operates. But now, Zerg is trying to get these, like, really exterior bases. Zerg is going to start to mine out at a lot of the locations they've had for most of this game. Top left, bottom right are what I'm watching for. And these 2 bases closer to the middle, all very hard to control.
Yeah.
All very hard to keep.
I wonder about INnoVation, because he's added Ghosts in for his late game comp.
Yeah.
We only saw like 2 or 3 Liberators so far. And generally in the past, people do like to use Liberators to help against the Ultras, right? They just have such a high burst damage that Ultras have a hard time against them. But we don't really see that. So I feel like the Ultras are really going to help to carry. Yeah, he has 2 Liberators. That's not, you know, 2 Liberators, you're kind of like, whatever, I can fight under that.
Okay, he's starting to chip away over here. Now, most of this is on creep, but let's see how this is handled. There's also a really good counterattack opportunity because Terran is so far over to the right. Again, just Ultras. What am I seeing here? Where are the Lings with this?
That is not the greatest attack.
Yeah, and also, none of these Ultras are here to help defend this base, so
yeah,
this base is going to go down. What am I even seeing here? This is Dark throwing so hard.
Yep.
This is a disaster.
That was...
If there was a moment where if Dark has lost this, it's right here. He lost all of his Ultras, all of his Mutalisks. The base has been destroyed. Although Dark trying to squeeze here into the upper left. There's no... I mean, he lost all of the key core units that allow him to sustain.
Yeah, that was an awful attack.
Yeah.
That was awful. I'm very surprised, because if he had all those units over here, he could have saved this base. Or if he had these units over there, he could have killed the base. So yeah, it was like just the worst split he could do, basically.
Good pickups here. And I think from here, one of the next large attacks, maybe even this one up here, I think, will win the game because, again, you've given up all the tools you needed, and you did that by attacking into a planetary that was not killed.
Yeah. Very bad choice there.
Yeah.
Right. Got to go up here and surround everything. I mean, doing a good job there with the Lings around all those ghosts.
Now, where is that large group of Medivacs that was picking up an army earlier? That's what I'm wondering. I think it's actually headed northbound here to hit this location. I think it's just 2 screenshots below.
All right, here it comes, as you said.
And
INnoVation keeping that pressure on right now.
This may be a death blow here. This is see this base right here? Nobody ever gets to mine from this base, really.
It's a hard one.
This is like one of the more ambitious plays is to try to take a base where they have a high ground they can shoot over the hill and hit you on the low ground with.
INnoVation continuing to push towards the top left here.
And by the way, this push will only complement a further push into the top center.
Yeah. Look at this. Like, Dark right now has 1 Ultra with his army. So he's mostly focusing on counterattacks because his army is mostly Zergling Muta. Imagine if he had 4 more Ultras with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, he would actually be able to take a fight, Artosis. I mean, with one Ultimus coming up here, they actually just snipe the Ultra and kill it.
Yeah,
and it's like, it doesn't change the dynamic of the fight whatsoever.
Well, he lost 2 hatches, so that's definitely good for INnoVation. INnoVation staying near maxed out here. Dark having a much harder time with that.
Another attack over here at 6 o'clock. Now this could actually do something. But again, there's just
getting some value.
Yeah, they are, but there are Widow Mines here. There's enough Marines. I mean, how many Mutas have been killed in this game, really?
A lot.
Terran now even reaching over to the lower right. We saw a CC just land there.
The Muta's gonna try to keep the pressure on down at this side of the map. Dark retaking top left. He does have this space again, so that's important. But is he gonna stop this next attack?
I don't think he can.
I don't think so.
I think this is too much. Terran is now bigger and more present on the map than the Zerg. And I think a lot of this goes back to throwing away 4 Ultralisks onto a planetary and then losing the Mutalisks too.
Well, maybe he loses the game anyways, but definitely not looking like this.
Yeah, we've seen that he's remade Mutalisks, but he's pretty strapped on gas, right? He can't have that extra gas to try to make the Ultralisks out here.
Well, he's kind of strapped on everything. After throwing away the Ultras, he lost a base, and then he lost 2 more because he didn't have them to help defend. It really has snowballed since then.
Okay, you can see he might be able to take this fight over here. Liberator's now coming up as well. Man, there's just so much here from Terran. It's like a never-ending stream of red.
Yeah.
Flying up through the top here. And again, the center right base was poked out at 3 o'clock. Now it's a fight back up here in the upper left.
Liberator's setting up in very good positions here. INnoVation just playing God mode right now. Clearing the creeps, stimming, running forward. Hitting one of the last bases that actually has resources at it for Dark, and GG. INnoVation gonna advance to the next round.
Damn, INnoVation looking good. Let's get these Zerg players out of here, man.
Yeah, I guess so. And yeah, definitely some mistakes from our Zergs tonight. I mean, everyone makes some mistakes, but some of them were pretty surprising.
I mean, the most important units you've built up to in the game, you're losing with no Lings. Ultralisks, by the way, guys, are not good units if they by themselves. I know they look pretty epic and stuff, but you actually need a bunch of other stuff there for the thing to work.
Yeah.
It's almost like a support unit or something like that.
Kind of.
And so, INnoVation wins, rightfully so, and he will be advancing to the round of 8.
Okay, the last player to advance to the round of 8 is INnoVation of Kaizi Gaming. Congratulations. Thank you. In the first game and the second game, you overpowered your opponent and you move on to the round of 8. How do you feel? Well, I was really nervous at start, and you know, I couldn't think straight. But somehow I won the game, and you know, it feels quite fascinating, to be honest. You felt so nervous, but you played such a long game. I just played, you know, however I wanted. In the match against Rogue, you won 2-1. And you showed your special characteristic, which is optimization, perfectly in the game. In the third set, you eliminated the lurkers with the Widow Mines. So what was that about? In the game, I did start off the game with an advantage, and then I knew that using Widow Mines would be a good option. So are you confident in terms of micro and your like army production? I'm not too sure. I'm not too confident, but in practice, I think it wasn't too good, but today it definitely worked well. In Season 2, you gained a 2-0, 2-0 victory. So what changed compared to Season 2? Well, that time I did make thorough preparation, and this time it was more like impromptu, everything. So today I'm not too sure how I won, but I just somehow won. Well, it wasn't immaculate TVZ, but he still doesn't know why he won. So let's talk about the TVP. You were quite powerless in the matchup today. So what went through your mind after that match?
그냥 토스 자체가 너무
Well,
좀
Protoss itself
세다 보니까
is just
시작하기도
too strong.
전에 이미
So
너무 위축돼 있다
even before the game
보니까
started, I was, really
뭘 해도 진다는 생각에
intimidated,
휩싸여 있다 보니까
and I knew that whatever I do, I wouldn't be able to beat up Protoss, and I think that's why I felt very weak in the game.
선수의 생각과는 조금 다른 반응이시네요.
Okay.
오히려 그 상대가 저격으로 전멸 추적자를 꺼내서 성공을 시켰어요.
So Trav actually exploited by going for the Blink Stalkers.
상대방이 나에게 자신감이 있기 때문에 똑같은 걸 또 할 거기 때문에
And Trav said in the interview before that you INnoVation were very confident playing against him, so he knew that you would only stick to one build.
할 빌드가 없기도 하고
Against the Protoss, there's not many builds I can use,
그냥 하는 거 했어.
so that's why I just stick to one build.
없는 거다 이런 말씀이셨습니다. 자 이렇게 오늘 이신영 선수가 2위로
So with INnoVation securing the second place spot,
또 프로토스전이 됐습니다.
your opponent is another Protoss,
요즘 특히 잘한다.
and it is that's one of the best Protoss right now.
어떠신가요?
So how do you feel about that matchup?
그냥 솔직히 토스전 너무 어려워.
Well, TVP is so hard, it's so difficult.
뭘 어떻게 해야 이기는지를 모르겠어.
So I just can't grasp like the
실력강도 사실
matchup.
무조건 떨어질 거라고 생각하고 왔는데
And honestly, I came here thinking that I would get eliminated today.
해도 될 것 같아.
네, 과연 어떤 답을 구해 오실지.
So we'll see how you prepare
자, 끝으로
ahead of
이신영
that
선수
match.
마지막 한마디 들어볼게요.
So before you go, anything you want to say, INnoVation?
8강 와서 되게 좋고요.
Well, I'm really happy to have moved on to the round of 8.
이번 최근에 이제 저그전은 좀 괜찮은데
And recently, my TVZ has been getting better,
경기력이 많이 안 좋은데
but TVP, my performance hasn't
8강은
been that
좀
great.
특별하게
So in the round of 8, I'm gonna have to make especially important.
네, 저희가
preparation.
기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 다시
I
한번
will look forward to that.
축하드립니다.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
이신영 선수 만나봤는데요.
That does it
오늘
for the
경기
round of
최종
16,
정리
everybody.
확인해
We're
보시죠.
going to go into the round of 8. That'll be on, what day is it? Is today Saturday? That'll be on Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll start that. Sorry, we've had so many casting days here. It's all bleeding together. Here's what the results are. Trap and INnoVation win. Rogue and Dark are now out.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting results with INnoVation in second place. Congrats to him. I actually thought a Zerg would advance with Trap, but
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. So let's take a look at this. TY versus DRG and Stats versus INnoVation. Oh my God. One of those four is in the finals. Amazing. Of course, all of them have been there before. In fact, all of them are champions. And then down at the bottom, Armani Zest. I think that is the real weird match in the round of 8.
I'm excited for Armani. He's been in the lower tiers of our tournament for so long. Maybe he advances.
You know what's crazy to me about this? Because we have some really great players that you would look at and be like, these guys might win. Zest has been quiet for a bit, but I look at this bracket, I'm like, Zest can win this tournament.
Sure.
He can win. It can happen.
And
that
it's
would be
a
our
very hard one
first
to call.
three-time Protoss champion if he does.
That would be very special.
And that would be,
if we
yeah,
get
that would be something else.
As a quick reminder, guys, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. KST, the ASL is going to have the group with Flash in it. Now, Flash has been playing random.
That's
This
right.
is going to be the first actual major tournament, the first Star League with him playing random, and we're going to see what happens. I mean, if he wins this ASL, it's the most insane thing to happen in gaming. I don't know that he will, but it's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens in that group tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on the same YouTube channel that you're watching us on right now.
That's right. Definitely make sure you tune into that, even if you are a StarCraft 2 only person.
I don't care who you are, you should watch that.
Well,
That's going to be
Flash
crazy.
playing random. It's just like if he gets out of the group, and the group is insanely hard. Flash's first opponent's kind of easy, but the other two players are like finalists of ASL, including the best Protoss in the world right now, Snow.
So it's going to be pretty wild to see what happens. Again, with random, they don't tell you what race they got. So there's this whole guessing game going on. So everybody's very excited to see what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
And, of course, we've got a great round of 8 that's going to be starting on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. KST. Yeah.
But even before that, on Tuesday, we have ASL again.
That's true.
My God.
Guys, that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us. We love you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Entaro, GSL.
I'm never gonna give up. You never